Welcome to the Royal Aero Club of the United Kingdom 2020 Awards Ceremony. As much as I would like to be welcoming you all in person to this prestigious event, it gives me great pleasure to be able to announce the award recipients online in this virtual awards ceremony. The Royal Aero Club is embracing the digital era we now find ourselves living in. The Royal Aero Club Awards are an opportunity for the member associations to honour the many facets of aviation their members represent. Those who fly, invent, help and support, every one of them united in their passion for aviation. Each year there continues to be outstanding performances and achievements made by groups and individuals who each take their place in the Royal Aero Club history books. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy this presentation as we reveal the 2020 Royal Aero Club Awards recipients.
Thank you, David, and we begin with the Britannia Trophy, which this year goes to an outstanding young female aviator, Alicia Hempelman-Adams. Alicia achieved a new AX04 FAI World Female record in February 2020, whilst at the same time also breaking several long-standing British records. In Mondovi, Italy, she trialled the new Ultramagic balloon, which she then used for her record attempt in Alberta, Canada, with ground temperatures of -10 degrees Celsius, resulting in her using supplemental oxygen at the highest altitude and in temperatures of -40 degrees. Through her outstanding tenacity, courage and determination, as well as achieving new British and world records, Alicia is an outstanding ambassador for British and female ballooning. We move on now to the first of the Royal Aero Club medal winners, and this year a silver medal has been awarded to Carl Wallbank. Carl set out to achieve a hang gliding Class 1 UK triangle record starting from an Aero 2 launch. After meticulous planning, he achieved a 143-kilometre defined triangle flight. Such a task calls for rigorous planning and every moment of exceptional weather, along with tactical judgment and skill to find available lift and the necessary speed to complete the course before the day runs out. In the achievement of this record, Carl now holds all the UK Class 1 records for both defined and open hang gliding flights in two main categories of XC record: straight line distance and triangle. On to our second silver medal winner now, and this one is awarded to Ernie Horsfall. Born in 1918, Ernie was called up during World War II and served with RAeC, and despite being inspired by a trip on an RAF flying boat, he didn't take his first flying lesson until 1961. Since then he's made up for it, having owned a total of 56 aircraft and used up 5 pilots' logbooks. He is an accredited aircraft inspector for the LAA and is an acknowledged expert on the Jodel type. Ernie has personally imported a significant proportion of the French aircraft currently on the UK register. He is also a wooden aircraft repair expert for the Icelandic CAA, and just ahead of his 102nd birthday, he remains an active engineer and last year renewed his inspector's certificate. We now move on to our first of the Royal Aero Club Bronze Awards, and we begin with Michael Lewis. Mick has been a competitive control line combat flyer for over 56 years. He won his first combat at the British National Championships in 1976, the first person to do so with a Glow engine, winning the European Championship a year later. Since giving up international combat class, Mick has concentrated on vintage combat, as well as being secretary for the Combat Flyers Association for 15 years. He helped develop the association through hard work and enthusiasm and was combat director at every British national event until he retired 2 years ago. The organisation of this and other competitions in the year is solely down to his hard work. Our next bronze medal winner is Matthew Hoyland. Matthew is a consistently successful F3A pilot, winning 6 consecutive F3A British National Championships from 2014 to 2019. He was instrumental in the FAI Aerobatics Finals, being included in the BMFA Championships. He's been a GBR team member on 7 occasions and contest director of the F3A class at the British National Championships from 2006 to 2019. For the last 3 years, Matthew has been asked to run the flight line at the BMFA University and schools payload challenges, attracting teams from many countries. Our third Bronze Award winner is Dempster Hamilton. Dempster became chairman of the RAF Model Aircraft Association during a period of serious decline and masterminded a revival that would have been unimaginable at the start of his tenure. The RAF MAA is now a British Model Flying Association region, and his personal involvement ensured an RAF model aircraft presence at bigger flying competitions. And he has secured continued funding from the RAF Sports Board to help offset competition and equipment costs. This strategic turnaround has been achieved through outstanding dedication to RAF MAA, dogged determination to improve matters, and a very serious amount of investment of time and effort. The next recipient of a bronze medal goes to Phil Chettelberg. After a 25-year hang gliding career, Phil retired from flying, but not from competitions. He has remained one of the most recognisable and widely respected faces in the sport, and one of the key figures who makes it all happen. He's put a decade of effort into many key roles, supporting competition as an organising panel member, also as team manager for the British national teams competing at European and world levels, and is also universally known as an ever-present scorer. Phil continues to play an active role at all levels, for which the sport remains indebted to him. We move on to our fifth bronze medal winner now, Colin Spence. Colin first became an international judge almost 20 years ago in 2002. He travels extensively at his own cost to judge at helicopter events around Europe and as far afield as Russia. He's judged at the FAI World Helicopter Championships, the FAI World Helicopter Air Races and the Queen's Cup Air Race, as well as countless European and national events. The sport relies heavily upon dedicated individuals like Colin. And the next bronze award winner is Jerry Parr. Jerry is an ex-RAF engineer and has made an unpaid voluntary contribution to the Light Aircraft Association for over 20 years. He was one of the first in the UK to build an RV6 and has gone on to build Van's RV12. For over 2 decades, via an internet-based self-help group, he has given assistance to fellow RV builders. In 2017, Jerry was recruited to bring his skills and knowledge in-house as an LAA airworthiness engineer. And another bronze award winner is Clive Porter. Clive is both a farmer and a pilot. He has encouraged and supported grassroots aviation for many years, together with his charitable work for the Mission Aviation Fellowship, which provides medical air services to remote areas of the world. He generously allows all comers to use his airstrip and for the last 14 years has hosted a Scouts air camp. Down to the final 3 bronze award winners now, and the next is George Heritage. For just short of 30 years, George has been involved with the Helicopter Club of Great Britain and has held a number of positions within the club: Chairman, Vice President, Hospitality Director, International Judge and Competition Pilot. George's dedication to the HCGB has been unstinting, and the club is honoured to count him as a long-standing member. And our penultimate bronze medal winner, Gary Pullen. Gary is one of the volunteer team at Lasham Airfield's Gliding Heritage Centre. With his leadership, he has made a significant contribution to the effective management of volunteer input, as well as tremendous resourcefulness to make progress with limited resources. The GHC has moved from a vision in 2013 to a world-class facility in 2020. And Gary continues to work tirelessly to ensure that the history of gliding continues in the form of a living legacy. And our final bronze medal winner is David Cowden. A long-standing British aerobatics member and experienced competition pilot, through a series of initiatives, David has passionately sought to identify and nurture aerobatic talent in the UK. He established the British Aerobatic Foundation to help emerging talent by securing major sponsorship. A significant number of competitors owe a debt of gratitude to David's work, and his current fundraising programme has raised nearly £80,000 to help teams prepare with a substantial donation also being made to airability. Most encouraging is the new wave of gliding talent emerging onto the international stage. We now move on to the first of 12 Royal Aero Club Certificates of Merit, and the first recipient is Roy Wilson. For several decades, Deeside Gliding Club's Roy Wilson has set a great example as one of the leading practitioners of long-distance wave soaring in Scotland. He readily volunteers his time and takes a leading role in mentoring and encouraging local and visiting pilots, helping them develop their experience of cross-country soaring. Roy has also dedicated thousands of volunteer hours maintaining the fleet of club gliders and tow planes. Our next Certificate of Merit goes to David Tappin. David has been model flying for 70 years, competing in every class there is. He has also judged F3A, the International Aerobatics class, and progressed to judging model jets. He judged at the first Jetmasters competition in 1995 and was manager for the GBR F3A team from 1998 to 2003. He has also served on the committee of the Jet Modelers Association, taking the role of safety officer during a time when turbine use was growing. David has given long and unstinting service to model flying at club, national and international level. We move to Northern Ireland now and to our next recipient, Louis RAeC. Louis has been a member of Ulster Model Aircraft Club for over 30 years. His forte is assisting and helping people learn to fly. His skill base includes ensuring that students are successful in obtaining their BMFA Achievement A certificate, and his interaction with younger people is particularly noted. Louis is an exemplary ambassador for the sport of model flying in Northern Ireland. And now to the southeast of England for our next award. James Gordon. James is a naturally gifted pilot who believes passionately in demonstrating and sharing the joys of aero modelling with everyone. His individual passion has been to promote the concept of fun fly, through participation in club and national competitions, the ethos being to emphasise the fun that can be had in competition. James has given many years of dedicated service to both the wider model flying community and to the Caterham Club. Our next recipient of a Certificate of Merit is Christopher Allen. Christopher has supported the BMFA Scale Technical Committee and the FAI F4 Subcommittee over many years, in addition to his work as National, International and FAI Scale Championships Radio Control Judge. He is a staunch supporter of UK scale competition and has been a UK scale judge for 3 decades, and a member of the BMFA Scale Technical Committee for 14 years, where he is currently their Rules and Safety Officer. His achievements include the creation and amendment of the current BMFA Scale Competition Rules and the associated Judges Guide, and he's in the process of creating an accompanying Scale Contest Director's Guide. Christopher has had significant involvement in FAI F4 competition rules, which have been considerably improved. The next recipient of a Certificate of Merit is Neil Wilson. Neil has been chairman of the LAA Wessex Strut since 2015 and is the driving force behind the growth and success of the West of England's largest regional group, which has doubled in size under his leadership. He is also the coordinator of the LAA Round Britain Tour. As well as being an accomplished air-to-air photographer, Neil is a major contributor to the annual LAA Rally. To the East Midlands now for our next recipient, Clint Marler. Clint established the Air Scouts in the East Midlands and is a national coordinator for the UK Air Scouts movement. He works tirelessly to keep the Air Scouts alive, arranging aviation career-related speakers via Zoom. He has also organised events such as Hike to the Moon, an indoor scout camp called The Great Outdoors, and a virtual RAeC. Air Scouting is his life, and he passes it on to the young, giving them the opportunity to meet people and to do things they wouldn't normally do in their everyday lives. His motto is, "Be prepared to rise above your expectations." Our next Certificate of Merit goes to Patricia Mowley-Porter. As a champion for diversity within the aviation industry, Patricia encourages women and young people to join the sector, especially those from communities with no previous contact with sport aviation, using her Build a Plane project and for her work as a GA ambassador for the Department of Transport. Brought up in rural Ghana, Patricia began clearing scrub from the nearby airstrip, then working in the hangars and onto her first flight. After pilot training, she became the first woman in Ghana to hold a license, and as an engineer, was the first woman to gain the highest rating issues by RAeC for light aircraft engines. Patricia has proved that anyone with sufficient determination can overcome the odds and succeed in aviation. Our next recipient is Anne Hughes. Anne was nominated for her work with LAA Struts Movement as chair of the Vintage Aircraft Club and as coordinator of LAA's Young People's Outreach and the FAI Aviation Art Competition. Entries from the UK have gone from 0 to over 100 in recent years, and she responded to COVID with the creation of aviation art at home competitions. Anne also regularly contributes a column to the LAA magazine. Next, a shared Certificate of Merit. Matt Page and Peter Hibbard. Matt and Peter have led and made significant contributions to the UK Junior Gliding Initiative. Both are active instructors and have taken the summer events format to a new level by complementing young pilots' home club training with opportunities for tailored learning and progress. During lockdown, Matt and Peter worked tirelessly to maintain enthusiasm amongst glider pilots of all ages with virtual events and webinars. Their contributions are pivotal in young pilot development and sustaining the sport of gliding. We stay with gliding for our next recipient, Craig Lowry. Craig has selflessly volunteered and supported gliding for 40 years, particularly at the Southdown Gliding Club. He possesses not only the skill and vision, but is hands-on, delivering major projects and leading by example. A most recent example is Craig's design and production of a regulatory-approved COVID-safe cockpit barrier in two-seat sailplanes, which is now used across the sport. His enthusiasm and personal drive for air sport is evident, along with a long list of personal achievements, including being the record holder for the longest distance flown from Southdown, at 800 kilometres. Our penultimate Certificate of Merit winner is Colin Wolstenholme. Colin has been an active balloon pilot and member of the British Balloon and Airship Club for over 40 years and has contributed a huge amount to ballooning and the BBAC. He has flown from the Isle of Man to Penrith and developed, built and flew a balloon for a James Bond film. For many years he's been an approved BBAC balloon inspector, an active member of the technical committee and a CAA examiner. Competition-wise, he has competed in the UK Nationals and represented his country at international events including the World Championships. And onwards to our final recipient of the Certificate of Merit, Andrew Webster. Andrew's long career in classic parascending and paragliding accuracy began with the Scouts in the 1980s. Since then he has been British champion 8 times, achieving a Diamond Award in the Classic Parascending and Paragliding Accuracy League and competed in many worldwide FAI events and now known as one of the UK's top competitors. He is an active BHPA Accuracy Panel Officer, he manages the databases for calculating the winners and maintains the BHPA Accuracy website, along with contributing to the Dead Centre pages of the Skywings magazine. We move to the final 6 awards for 2020 and to the Supermarine Trophy, which is presented to John Romain. Over the past 3 decades, John has become one of the foremost warbird aircraft restorers and air display pilots. His Duxford-based aircraft restoration company has restored dozens of ex-military aircraft to the skies, and he is entrusted with the maintenance for the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. The early post-restoration flights of Spitfire X-Ray India coincided with the arrival of COVID, and John arranged for some of these flights to coincide with the Clap for Carers evenings. The aircraft carried "Thank You NHS" on its underside, as well as names of the public. So far this has generated £100,000 for the NHS Together charity. This has grown to a series of tours over the UK and bringing aircraft heritage to millions. Our next award is the President's Breitling Trophy, which is presented to Ellie Carter. Aided by the LAA Armstrong Isaacs bursary, Ellie completed her tailwheel conversion as well as flying a classic Piper Club and gaining experience in aircraft from the Oster to a Vans RV-12. She's been adopted by EasyJet as a youth ambassador for future crew recruitment, and Ellie has also taken over as chair of the LAA's Youth and Education Group. The Old and Bold Award next, and we're delighted to announce that this year's recipient is Sid Gilmore. Born in 1937, Sid began flying in 1964, and in 1974 he completed his BGA instructor's course and has been instructing without incident ever since, having flown over 5,000 hours and 40 different types of glider. Outside of the UK, Sid also holds glider instructor ratings in the USA, New Zealand and Australia. He tirelessly promotes gliding, and his club chairman describes him as a super volunteer, something he does to a very high standard. The Royal Aero Club's next award is the Nexus Trophy, which this year is presented to Joe Schofield. In 1992, Joe was appointed editor of the BHPS Skywings magazine, and in his first edition he pledged to be fair and even-handed to all manufacturers and to respect the contribution of members. The COVID pandemic saw membership fall, and with almost zero advertising and a decimated budget, it was the only tangible benefit that the BHPA members received through the year. Joe worked tirelessly to make sure it remained a fresh and interesting read whilst retaining its membership. Skywings remains a crucial glue that holds the diverse association together, and 18 years on, Joe's enthusiasm for his role and that of the magazine flourishes. Our penultimate award this year is a Certificate of Appreciation, which is presented to Tom Maloney and Transair Flight Equipment. Tom and Transair Flight Equipment have generously supported Rotortalk, the helicopter club of Great Britain's quarterly magazine, by purchasing advertising space over the past 15 years. And commitment such as this is sincerely appreciated. And now our final presentation for 2020. And the Anne Welsh Memorial Award, which this year goes to Peter Burnham. Drawn to paragliding in the late 1980s, Peter is self-taught. He gained his official pilot rating in 1989 and became an instructor in 1991 and set up his own paragliding school the following year, operating from the Southern Hang Gliding and Paragliding Club. His calm and friendly nature ensured that the flying school was a great success, together with his in-depth knowledge of local sites, weather conditions and his safety-first attitude. Peter is humble about his years in the sport, but in reality has made a huge contribution to training new pilots to a high standard and should be rightly proud of his achievements. And that brings our 2020 awards ceremony to a close. We would like to thank our sponsors, Pooley's and Breitling, and we wish you all a safe and prosperous 2022. Goodbye.